The ballroom of the Fairmont Plaza hummed with anticipation. Crystal chandeliers cast prismatic light across tables draped in ivory silk, each centerpiece a cascade of white roses and peonies. 300 guests filled the space, their murmurs creating a symphony of expectation. Jessica stood in the bridal suite on the third floor, her reflection multiplying in the trifold mirror before her. The dress had cost more than her first car. Vera Wang, custom-fitted, with intricate lace appliques that caught the light like snowflakes. Her mother dabbed at her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief, while her sister fussed with the cathedral-length veil. Jessica's phone sat on the vanity, screen dark, waiting. She had loved William Hartford since their junior year at Yale. He'd been confident without arrogance, ambitious yet thoughtful, the kind of man who remembered details about people others overlooked. Their courtship had been a whirlwind of gallery openings, weekend trips to Martha's Vineyard, and late-night conversations about building something meaningful together. His family wealth had intimidated her at first. Old Connecticut money, the kind that came with historical society memberships and country club legacies, but William had insisted none of it mattered. What mattered was them. The phone buzzed. Jessica glanced at it absently, expecting another congratulatory message. Instead, she saw William's name with a voice message notification. Odd. He was supposed to be with his groomsmen, probably already downstairs. She tapped the message. Static crackled, then William's voice emerged, slightly muffled as if the phone were in his pocket. An accidental recording, she realized. She moved to delete it when his words stopped her cold. "Dad, I need 5 minutes before this circus starts." William's voice carried an edge she'd never heard before, sharp, calculating. His father's response came through clearly. Richard Hartford's patrician tone was unmistakable. "Make it quick, your mother's already seated. I need you to understand something." William's voice dropped lower, more intimate. "This marriage, Jessica, it's the smartest move I've made. Her father's construction company is positioned perfectly for the waterfront development. Once we're married, once I'm family, navigating those contracts becomes infinitely easier." Jessica's hand flew to her mouth. The phone trembled against her palm. "You're certain about the timeline?" Richard asked. 18 months, maybe 2 years, long enough to secure the Harbor Point deal, establish the family connection. Then we revisit options, a tasteful divorce. These things happen. I keep my stake in the company through the prenup clauses. Her lawyer thought he was so clever, but Lawrence found the loopholes. Jessica gets a settlement, we maintain cordial relations for business purposes, and I move forward unencumbered. The room spun. Jessica gripped the vanity edge, her knuckles white against the mahogany. "And the girl?" Richard's voice held casual interest, as if discussing stock portfolios. "Jessica's sweet, predictable. She won't make waves. That's why she's perfect for this phase. She believes in love, in partnership, all those romantic notions. It makes her manageable." Her sister's voice cut through the fog. "Jess, you okay? You're pale?" Jessica held up one finger, her eyes never leaving the phone. The message continued. "What about after?" Richard pressed. "You're 32. Eventually you'll need a proper wife. Someone from our circle." William laughed, the sound hollow. "Miranda Ashworth's been patient. She understands how these things work. Her family's been in textiles for 4 generations. That's the kind of partnership that makes sense long-term. But right now I need Jessica's father's connections and her complete trust. The waterfront project is worth 80 million. That's worth a temporary marriage." The message ended with the rustling of fabric and fading footsteps. Jessica stood frozen, her wedding dress suddenly feeling like a costume, an elaborate prop in someone else's play. 24 months of her life compressed into a business strategy. Her love, her dreams, her father's legacy, all reduced to leverage points in William Hartford's portfolio. Her mother appeared beside her. "Sweetheart, the ceremony starts in 15 minutes. The coordinator is asking—" She stopped, seeing Jessica's expression. "What's wrong?" Jessica's mind raced through possibilities, each one unfurling like a map before her. She could walk out now, cancel everything, expose William publicly. The scandal would be immediate and catastrophic. For him, for her, for both families. Or she could go through with it, marry him, play along, and systematically dismantle everything he'd built on lies. "Nothing's wrong." Jessica's voice surprised her with its steadiness. She straightened, meeting her reflection with new eyes. "Actually, everything's finally clear." She pulled her sister aside, voice low. "I need you to do something for me. Right now. Text Dad. Tell him not to sign anything, any contract, any document that William or his father present. Not today, not this week. Tell him I'll explain later, but it's critical." Her sister's eyes widened. "Jess, what?" "Please, trust me. Also, call Uncle Marcus, her father's attorney, a bulldog of a man who'd built his reputation on corporate warfare. Tell him I need him at the reception, discreetly. This is insane. Your wedding starts in—" "I know exactly what I'm doing." Jessica turned back to the mirror, her hand steady now as she adjusted her veil. "Let's give them the show they're expecting." The ceremony was flawless. Jessica glided down the aisle, her smile perfect, her eyes meeting William's with an intensity he interpreted as love. He squeezed her hand during the vows, his voice strong and certain as he promised forever. She repeated the words, each syllable loaded with new meaning. When the minister pronounced them husband and wife, the guests erupted in applause. William kissed her, and Jessica kissed back, her mind already 3 moves ahead in a game he didn't know they were playing. The reception unfolded like choreographed theatre. Dinner was served, filet mignon and Chilean sea bass. Champagne flowed. Toasts were made. Richard Hartford spoke eloquently about family, legacy, and the joining of 2 great households. Jessica's father, Michael Chen, welcomed William with genuine warmth that made her chest ache. During the first dance, William held her close. "You're radiant," he murmured. "I'm the luckiest man alive." Jessica smiled against his shoulder. "Are you?" He pulled back slightly, searching her face. "Of course. Why would you ask that?" "No reason. Just making sure you're happy with your choice." Something flickered in his eyes. Doubt, perhaps, or suspicion. But the moment passed. The DJ transitioned into the father-daughter dance, and Jessica found herself in her father's arms, fighting tears for entirely new reasons. "You seem different," Michael observed quietly. "Distracted." "Big day," Jessica managed. "Overwhelming. If you ever need anything—" "I know, Dad, I know." At the edge of the dance floor, Uncle Marcus appeared, distinguished in his charcoal suit. Jessica caught his eye and nodded slightly. He understood. The evening progressed through its scheduled beats. Cake cutting, bouquet toss, the sparkler send-off that would accompany their departure to the honeymoon suite. But between each moment, Jessica maneuvered pieces on her chessboard. Quiet conversation with Marcus in the hallway outside the restrooms. "I need you to pull the Harbor Point development contracts, every clause, and I need a forensic accountant to examine the prenup." Quietly, Marcus's eyebrows rose, but he nodded. How quietly, invisible. "And Marcus? I need leverage, the kind that makes people very nervous." "That's my specialty." A brief text exchange with her sister, who'd positioned herself near Richard Hartford. "What are they discussing? Business? Real estate?" RH keeps checking his phone, seems agitated. Jessica smiled. Let them worry. Let them wonder if Michael had already caught wind of their schemes. A moment stolen with her father during the bouquet toss chaos. "Dad, that waterfront deal with the Hartfords, how far along is it?" Michael looked surprised. "We're in preliminary discussions. William's been pushing hard, but I haven't committed." "Why?" "Don't. Not yet. Give it a week. Trust me." He studied her face, seeing something that made him nod slowly. "All right, sweetheart. But you'll tell me what's going on?" "Soon, I promise." The honeymoon suite was a palace of white and gold. Rose petals scattered across the king-size bed, champagne chilling in silver buckets, city lights glittering beyond floor-to-ceiling windows. William loosened his tie, his smile easy and satisfied. "Alone at last, Mrs. Hartford." Jessica slipped off her heels, her wedding dress rustling. "Not quite the name I expected to carry." "What do you mean?" "I mean, I've always been proud of being a Chen, building something from nothing. That's my family's legacy." She moved to the window, her back to him. "What's your legacy, William?" "That's an odd question for our wedding night." "Is it?" She turned, her expression unreadable. "I've been thinking about legacies all day. What we leave behind, what we build, what we destroy." William approached her, hands gentle on her shoulders. "You're exhausted. It's been a long day. Come to bed." Jessica stepped away, creating distance. "I received a voice message from you today. An accidental one." His face went carefully blank. "What?" "In the bridal suite. About 40 minutes before the ceremony. You and your father discussing our marriage." She watched him closely, cataloguing every micro-expression. "Discussing your timeline. 18 months to 2 years, wasn't it?" The color drained from William's face. "Jessica, Don't." Her voice cut like glass. "Don't insult me with lies. I heard everything. The Harbor Point deal. Miranda Ashworth. Your convenient plan to divorce me once you've extracted what you need from my family. William's shock gave way to calculation. She could see his mind working, searching for angles, for explanations that might salvage the situation. You misunderstood. That conversation was... Word for word, William, I have the recording. Would you like to hear it? His jaw clenched. Seconds stretched between them, taut and dangerous. Finally he spoke, his voice stripped of its earlier warmth. What do you want? There it is. Jessica's laugh was bitter. Not I'm sorry, not I love you, just what do you want? That's who you really are, isn't it? Be realistic, Jessica. We're married now. Divorce would be messy for both of us, expensive, public. Whatever you think you heard, whatever I think I heard. She pulled out her phone, tapped the screen. His voice filled the room, crisp and damningly clear. This marriage, Jessica, it's the smartest move I've made. William's composure cracked. You can't, that's private, recorded without consent. Like your plan to defraud my family? Like your scheme to use me as a business tool? Jessica's anger finally broke through, hot and righteous. You stood in a church today and lied to everyone who loves us. You looked my father in the eye and promised to honor me. And the entire time, you were counting down the months until you could cash out. Your father will still make money on the development. Everyone benefits. That's what you think this is about? Money? She shook her head, incredulous. You really don't understand, do you? My father built his company from the ground up. 70-hour weeks, missed birthdays, sacrificed everything to give his family opportunities. And you saw that as weakness, something to exploit. William's face hardened. This is business, Jessica. It's not personal. You married me. That makes it personal. We can work through this. Renegotiate terms. I'll give you whatever settlement you want right now. And we keep up appearances for a respectable period. You're still not listening. Jessica moved to the suite's desk, where she'd had her sister discreetly place a folder earlier. She opened it, revealing documents Marcus had prepared in advance, contingency plans built on years of legal experience. Here's what's going to happen instead. You're going to call your father. Tell him the Harbor Point deal is off. Tell him I know everything. And if either of you attempts to pursue any business arrangement with my father's company, this recording goes public, along with a full accounting of your family's financial irregularities that my uncle's forensic team has been investigating. William's eyes narrowed. You're bluffing, am I? Marcus Chen doesn't bluff. Neither do I, apparently. She pulled out another sheet. The Hartford Foundation's tax filings from 2019. Interesting discrepancies. The property acquisition in Rhode Island. Questionable appraisals. Your father's consulting fees. Potential self-dealing violations. Individually, maybe defensible. Together, a pattern that regulators find fascinating. You can't prove anything. Maybe not beyond reasonable doubt. But I don't need that standard, do I? I just need reasonable questions. The kind that trigger audits, investigations, headlines. How long do you think your father's board appointments last? When his judgment comes under scrutiny? William stared at her as if seeing a stranger. Who are you? Someone who learned from her father that when people show you who they really are, you should believe them and act accordingly. Jessica's voice softened slightly, tinged with genuine sadness. I loved you, William. I would have built a life with you, real partnership, real trust, but you saw me as a transaction, so now I'm treating you like one. We're married, you can't just... Annulment. We haven't consummated the marriage. I have grounds based on fraud. You married me under false pretenses for financial gain. My lawyers will file Monday morning unless you agree to my terms. Your terms? His voice dripped with contempt. You want money after all. I want you to disappear from my life and my family's business. Completely. No contact with my father. No backdoor deals. No attempts to salvage your schemes. She handed him a pen and the prepared documents. Sign. Agree to the annulment. Agree to the non-contact provisions. And this recording stays private. Your reputation survives. Your father's foundation continues. And maybe Miranda Ashworth gets the life she's apparently been waiting for. William's hand trembled as he took the pen. This will ruin me. No. What you did would have ruined you. This saves you. You just don't recognize mercy when it's offered. Jessica watched him scan the documents, seeing his options narrow with each clause. I'm giving you something you never intended to give me. A clean exit and your dignity intact. Take it. He signed. His signature was barely legible, rushed and angry, but legally binding. Jessica witnessed it, then placed the documents in the folder. You'll regret this. William said quietly, walking away from what we could have built. We couldn't have built anything on lies. Jessica moved to the door, her wedding dress trailing behind her. I already called the front desk. You have this suite tonight. I'm staying elsewhere. My lawyer will contact yours Tuesday with the annulment paperwork. Don't fight it, William. You can't win, and trying will only make everything public. She paused at the threshold, looking back at the man she'd almost given her life to. In the soft light, he looked diminished, smaller than the figure who'd commanded her heart for 2 years. For what it's worth, she said, I hope you learn something from this. That people aren't assets, that trust matters, that the smartest move isn't always the most calculated one. She opened the door. Goodbye, William. I really did love you. That's the saddest part of all. The hallway was empty. Jessica kicked off her heels and walked barefoot toward the elevator, her wedding dress gathered in her arms. In the reflection of the polished brass doors, she saw herself, disheveled, exhausted, but somehow more herself than she'd been in the mirror hours earlier. Her phone buzzed. Her sister. Dad wants to know if you're okay. Everyone's asking questions. Jessica typed back, tell him I'm perfect. Tell him I'll explain everything tomorrow. And tell him I'm going to need his advice on running a construction company. I think it's time I learned the family business. The elevator descended. With each floor, Jessica felt the weight of the day lifting, replaced by something unexpected, relief, and beneath it, a fierce determination. William had seen her as manageable, predictable, someone who wouldn't make waves. He'd been catastrophically wrong. The lobby was quiet at this hour. Most guests departed or retired to their rooms. Jessica walked past the grand staircase where she'd descended as a bride just hours before. The night manager looked up, startled, but said nothing as she passed. Outside, the October air was crisp and cool against her skin. City lights stretched endlessly, each one a story, a life, a choice. Jessica stood on the steps of the Fairmont Plaza in her wedding dress, breathing deeply, feeling the future open before her like a door she'd chosen to walk through. Her phone rang. Uncle Marcus. I'm sending a car, he said without preamble. And Jessica, your father taught you well. Those documents were airtight, he'd be proud. He doesn't know yet. He will be anyway, trust me. A pause. Where do you want to go? Jessica thought for a moment. Not home. That apartment had been hers and William's. Not her parents' house. She needed space to process, to plan. The office, she said finally. Dad's office. I want to see those Harbor Point contracts. All of them. And Marcus? I want to understand everything about the business. Every detail. Starting tonight. Marcus chuckled, warm and approving. Like father, like daughter. The car will be there in 5 minutes. Jessica ended the call and sat on the steps, her wedding dress pooling around her like ocean foam. A few late-night pedestrians passed, some doing double takes at the bride alone on the hotel steps, but no one approached. She was grateful for the solitude, for this moment suspended between what had been and what would come. Her phone buzzed again. A message from a number she didn't recognize. This is Richard Hartford. We need to discuss this situation rationally. You're making a mistake that will cost everyone. Jessica deleted it without responding. There was nothing left to discuss. She'd made her choice, set her course. Richard Hartford and his son would learn what her father had always known, that honor and integrity weren't weaknesses to exploit. They were foundations to build on. The car arrived, sleek and black, Marcus's typical efficiency. Jessica gathered her dress and slid inside, the driver merging into late-night traffic without comment. Through the window, the city passed in stripes of light and shadow. Somewhere in this sprawling metropolis, William was probably calling his father, scrambling to manage the fallout. Miranda Ashworth might be receiving a surprising phone call. The Harbor Point development would find different investors, different partners. And Jessica Chen, no longer Jessica Hartford, never really Jessica Hartford, was going to learn everything her father could teach her about building empires that lasted, about legacy that meant something beyond profit margins and calculated exits. Her phone buzzed one final time. Her father. Your sister told me some things. Don't know the whole story yet, but I know my daughter. Whatever happened, whatever you need, I'm here. Always have been, always will be. Jessica typed back through sudden tears. I know, Dad, I'm coming to the office. We have a lot to discuss. And I need to learn the business. Really learn it. Starting now. I'll put on coffee. See you soon, sweetheart. The car turned onto Harbor Boulevard, where construction cranes stood like sentinels against the night sky. Somewhere in those plans, William had seen opportunity for deception. Jessica saw something different now. Potential for her father's legacy, for her own future, for building something honest and enduring. The dress she wore had cost a fortune and would never be worn again. But the lesson it represented, that timing was everything. That truth arrived on cue when you paid attention. That was priceless. Jessica smiled, surprising herself. Tomorrow, there would be questions to answer, explanations to give, family to console. There would be lawyers and paperwork, and the quiet scandal of an annulled marriage. But tonight she was free. Tonight she'd chosen herself over a beautiful lie. The car pulled up to Chen Construction's headquarters, lights burning in the top-floor corner office where her father waited. Jessica stepped out, still in her wedding dress, and walked toward her future with her head held high.